Welcome to Helping Organisations Thrive. Today, I have the great pleasure of Christina Dove. Welcome, Christina.
Hi, very pleased to be here, Julian.
Yeah, it's good to see you, and you don't live that far from me. Again, it's great to interview people locally as well as all around the world. But it's nice to sort of see you here today. I'm just going to tell the audience a little bit about you. You are the regional market and cultural leader for Mercer, and you spent over 30 years at Mercer, which is incredible. You're passionate about making a difference in people's lives, colleagues, and your clients. And you work in many areas of business, most recently creating a new UK culture as part of the major integration for over 4,000 UK employees. A lot of experience, and you are passionate about health, well-being, and creating thriving workplaces. You're also a GB age group duathlete, which I'm sure will bubble up at some points, as we're going to talk a little bit about energy today and how to create and get energy and be energetic in your workplace, in the work context, and as a leader, where do we get that source of energy? And I think that's quite an important thing to have, because I think sometimes working can be quite tiring. But if it's done in an energetic way and some sort of sources of energy that we can tap into, it could be more pleasurable and enjoyable. But before we go into that, I want to know a little bit more about you, and I want to know what do you love about what you do, Christina?
Oh wow, I'll just start with something. We were just talking the other day about things, and like a lot of companies, we are going through a bit of a on-site office change, and we're changing to smart office. So part of that is sort of going through your drawers and your cupboards and having a big sort out. And yesterday I was in the office and I came across all my old notebooks. And I literally had 5 notebooks, these big notebooks that had do what you love what you do on there. And I'm like, that was my real, it still is, but it was definitely my mantra. And I remember not being able to get these books. And I was so devastated that I couldn't get these books. So I think it's just really important to love what you do. We spend a lot of time at work, so we should love it. What keeps me going? I'm just really passionate about developing people, seeing people thrive in the workplace, seeing people develop their careers, seeing them exceeding their goals, and then so they're in the best place to deliver whatever we need to our clients. So that's kind of what I'm passionate about. Yeah.
And have you always known that you've had a passion for developing people and seeing people sort of flourish in the workplace, or has that just sort of happened over that time with Mercer?
No, definitely not. I don't think my passion growing up was maths. I just loved maths, so anything to do with maths. I did maths at university, and then when it came to looking for a job, I started off as an actuarial student in Mercer, and then I guess it was actually after having my first child, Megan, that I came back as a team leader, and I think that's when I got the passion. So it developed from there, I guess. I guess I'm quite a caring person. I like people to be happy. I like to be around happy people. But no, it didn't. I never, when I was young, I never thought, that's what I want to do. So it sort of, I guess it developed. And once you get to know what you sort of, you do these MBTI things and insights and what have you, and you realise that you enjoy these things. So that's where it's coming
Excellent.
from.
And what strikes me about you, your passion bubbles over, and you're very energetic, and obviously we're all different, and that's great. And it'd be interesting to understand from your perspective, being in a workplace environment, how do we sort of keep that energy levels up? Bear in mind, some are introverted, some are extroverted. We're all different in terms of on a continuum of all that. But be interested to understand what gets you sort of not just motivated, but is a source of energy to keep you going to sort of in the workplace, and also to what's created that sort of loyalty with Mercer as well, which is incredible, really.
Yeah. So lots in that question. I could talk for hours about that, Julian. So let me try and focus in on a few things. I think having a purpose and working with purpose is so key, and understanding why you're in the organisation you're in, why you're in the role that you're in and how, how that's contributing to the bigger picture, but how it's contributing to your well-being, if you like. So whilst Mercer serve, hundreds of thousands, probably millions of clients and individuals across the globe, a lot of my career, I've done client-facing roles, but a lot of my career has been internal. And I've always almost had this internal compass of making Mercer internally the best place it can be for people to work there, in a way. That's kind of been a bit of a North Star for me. I wanted people to be as happy and productive and have the best careers, people that I could touch. And I'm passionate about mentoring as well. So, I've got about 10 mentees, formal mentees, and then, other people that have sort of been mentees and keep going with me. So, there's various tricks as well. I mean, I think we all, over the last 18 months, everybody's talked about it, how it's been difficult. And one of the, when my energy's been lagging a little, there's various things that I've used. And one of them is called daily habits, creating lists and things like that. So just think of 3 things that you're going to do every day. And when you've done those, you'll know that you actually achieved something that day. And it's like, wow, I did something, because it's very easy to sit there and go, wow, what did I do today? So little things like that. Being outdoors just gives me energy. I love being outdoors. So whilst I've been working at home, I walk to work. So I literally do a little 20-minute walk before I even get, because otherwise I go from the bedroom to the kitchen to my study, and literally that's maybe, I don't know, 50 steps in total. Whereas, getting outdoors, it gets the endorphins flowing. There's lots of research about greenery and water just enhancing your mood. So things like that. Continuous learning, just always learning, and whatever you're, however you learn, it could be on the job, it could be reading. I love a good business book. Again, when I went in to sort of, clear my cupboards, the amount of books that were in this cupboard, I'm like, wow, So yeah, for me, I get energy from there, learning new things. And I guess in the last couple of years as well, and this is linked to the culture work that I've done, and it was around creating our culture. We wanted a culture where people were bolder, taking more risks. And actually, that's what I've tried to do. And that's actually given me energy and confidence when you actually start taking more risks. It's like, wow, I can do that. It's so yeah, trying new things. So I think all of those things.
Just going back to the purpose piece, and there's a lot of talk about understanding your own purpose and what that might be for you at that moment, and then aligning that with an organization. So one question is, how have you discovered your purpose, and then secondly, how do we make sure that can align with our organization, and what if it doesn't align? Because obviously there's never going to be a perfect alignment, but there's going to be some clear overlap. So just what your thoughts are on that, really.
Yeah, so I guess I talked about my purpose of making sure that people are, happy in the workplace, productive in the workplace. And I guess the more I did that, the more I realized that I enjoyed that. So when seeking roles, I guess that was the sort of direction I was sort of flowing in, if you like. And I've never had a big 5-year plan or 10-year plan, but within Mercer, Mercer have always provided me with a role that I have been able to grow into, that I've loved. So basically how it's gone throughout my career, every 2 or 3 years I go, I'm a bit bored now, can I do something else? And there's always been something else, and sometimes it's been new roles, for example. So and as well as the people side of things, I do I do love the operational side of things. I am, I've done a lot of project management. So and then it's finding projects that align to your purpose, I guess. So I've done a lot of lean work, visual management, continuous improvement. So, with the purpose of making our organization as efficient as it possibly can be, I molded that role into what I wanted to be, if you like. So I created a target operating model across Europe Pacific sort of thing. So the purpose there for me, although I wasn't directly client facing, It was to be as efficient as possible in our organisation and how we do things to be able to deliver the best result to the client. And in that same role, I created a sort of not emerging talent. It was a talent leadership program. So again, it was enabling our leaders to be as good and as great as they can be as well. So again, my purpose was to make sure that we were in the best position possible to deliver the best services and products, solutions, propositions, whatever to our clients. And within that, there was there was personal development strands, there was innovation strands, there was operational strands. So I guess it's sort of almost thinking what excites you, and then, if you like, molding the job to to make sure that purpose fits. And then more latterly, I led the team that created the culture internally in Mercer UK, and now we're actually taking that to clients. So having learned how successful it was internally, the purpose is now to help other clients with that. I guess. So, that's an example of external.
And it's interesting. You said at the start about you love sort of developing people, emerging leaders, helping get people excited about their careers, and all those projects, roles you've been involved in have all been linked to that, isn't it? And it's interesting to it's interesting you said that right at the start, and then you've almost then mapped out all those things are all part of that purpose. And I think that's why it's so important, because you are very passionate, you are very energetic, you are in the flow right now. And when you align your purpose, my purpose is unlocking leadership potential. When I get into the flow, whether it's a coaching client directly or a team, or it's some sort of facilitation that will facilitate that process, I'm absolutely energized because I'm doing what I love doing, and it's my sweet spot, and I'm in that flow. And I think it's finding that, isn't it? And it's understanding what excites you, what's your passion, what makes you think you've done a full day of this, but you still feel quite energized about it still, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, absolutely. And I think, and you're right, once you find that, it's magical. And the days, I've been at Mercer all this time, and I've had some fun, fantastic roles, but, I've always loved it. I've got 2 kids and a husband, but dare I say it, I never really think of them when I'm at work, because it's always been, work has been enjoyable. And it's finding that, and then it's sparking that in other people as well. I've had some conversations with mentees recently, where they've been struggling a bit, or where they've had to maybe go almost back into a role that they weren't particularly enjoying because that's what the business demands at the moment. I've said, well, just find some other sparks, something that you can do in addition that will actually keep you motivated, so that by the time you do move on, you're excited, and actually you can pick up skills and things like that. And I think just another thing is around this, quite often people come to me and I say, right, what is it you want? And they go, a grade increase. I'm like, well, why do you want that? What does that mean and everything? But there's a real process you can go through. It's like, right, okay, find the role profile, find this, find that, and you can work through it. So this is my maths background, but you can work through it so methodically, and actually giving people that method and that structure to work through. It's amazing how it works, and then, they're energized, and I come off the call going, oh, I helped that person. That's great,
Now, you've been at Mercer for over 30 years, which is a testament of A, your loyalty, but B, Mercer must be a fantastic organization for you. I'm just curious to know, what is it about Mercer that has enabled you, by the sounds of, you've done lots of roles, to keep your alignment to your purpose, and also to keep you still motivated and help you grow as an individual?
Yeah, so I think it is that being able to do the different roles. So Mercer are a great organisation, and I always say to people within Mercer, you can grow as much as you want. We have 4,500 people in the UK. We have brilliant career paths. We've got I think about 27,000 people globally, but we're also part of the Marsh McLennan empire. So Marsh Mac globally are around 75,000 people. So wow, if you can't find a career progression within that, you struggle, unless you want to move complete different industry. So I think it's it's having great mentors. I've had some great mentors across the years that have really stood me in good stead. I had one guy that and one comment really sticks with me, and he said to me, "Continue being your crazy self." And I just loved that, and it's like, wow, he gets me, sees me, So I think having great mentors, the different roles within the organisation, and it is about in a way finding your jam within that, if you like, because you could say like, oh, helping people, why aren't you a nurse, why aren't you doing voluntary work, that sort of thing. But actually I can see helping, if you're thinking about helping people within the workplace, then actually you're contributing to their well-being, and you're giving them a really good career, I think.
Yeah.
So I think that's what helped me stay, and great benefits and all that sort of thing. I've been able to. I started my career in Brentwood in Essex. I now live in Emsworth near Chichester, and it's a brilliant place, and I've been able to do national roles, European roles, global roles from Emsworth. Which is brilliant. So we have even more now. We have remote working, but we're able to, the company encourage you to do all of these different roles. And I was always encouraged to take on extra things as well, which stretched me and almost gave me skills that I didn't know I had. I was approached at one point to sort of lead this global management a global management department. I'm like, well, I don't know a lot about that, knowledge management, and but you use your leadership and management skills, be able to apply them to different areas. So I hope that's answered your question.
Yeah, and it strikes me that whether you stay in an organization for 5 years, 30 years, you're sort of displaying this mindset of looking for opportunities, looking for ways of growing, looking for ways of how can I better myself, learn more. The fact that you had mentors, you can be proactive in an organization. You can ask for mentors, because I think they're really helpful outside your department, that nothing to do with your line manager, just gives you a different perspective. And I think that's a really valuable thing. But it seems that it's having that mindset, isn't it, of wanting to grow, wanting to develop, and willing to take some opportunities in different ways to explore it, isn't it? And have an almost an explore mindset.
It is, and I think, and it's then promoting that within the organisation, because I think a lot of people are a bit scared of mentors in a way, but actually the more we talk about it. So we have a rising professionals group in Mercer, and I was talking on that recently about leadership, and then from that I got 2 people approach me and say, actually, will you be my mentor? Now, had I not done that, they wouldn't have heard me talking about mentorship. And they wouldn't approach me. So again, it's it is about making people aware within the organisation actually that this is almost normal. Get yourself, and I just think it's in a way it's such an untapped thing within organisations, because people love helping other people. It's they do, don't they? I mean, it's
they do, and you get to know people. It's the way of networking, interacting with just by us having a conversation, we learn more about ourselves, we learn more about other people, and it's a way of doing that. Just going back to how we sort of get this energy. So you've got this purpose, and that's really get that clarity of that and alignment. And you mentioned about daily habits. I'd like just to expand a bit more upon that. How creating daily habits that really helped you to sort of create that sort of energy?
Yeah. So to start with, I was on a Partners in Growth program last year, I think, and it was something that we were taught on that. Keith Abraham he was leading it. He's a great leadership coach, and basically to start with, he said, over a month I want you to create something where you're going to do 5 things every day or 3 things every day, but you do it every single day. And at the time I was doing some sort of external awareness, external sales. So it was about, so for that month, I said, okay, every single day, I'm going to look for 5 new contacts. And I literally looked for 5 new contacts every day. And I was going to make sure that on our internal system, I entered those contacts. So actually, by the end of it, you've suddenly realised, you go, wow, I've got all these new contacts. How did that happen? So that was great, and that really sort of kept me honest, and it actually gave me a focus for that month, because I was waning a little bit, and I was thinking, oh, how do I do this? It was quite a new role for me, and I was struggling a little bit. So that's how it happened. And then since then, whenever I'm struggling, I'm like, right, okay, daily habits. What are my daily habits going to be? And I talk about being versatile in this blog as well. And one of the things I said, is about, just doing things a bit differently. So I actually, bought myself a physical whiteboard during lockdown, which is there. So, my daily habits at the moment are do one social post every day, do an action on culture or ESG, which is what I'm doing at the moment, and it's doing one action on coaching and mentoring. So that might be just ringing somebody up, it might be talking to somebody, it might be actually talking to a client, doing a post on social about ESG or something like that. But it keeps you honest. It really keeps you honest. And then actually going, okay, I'm keeping going here, I'm keeping going, I am contributing towards my goals, or towards my personal happiness. And then once you've done it, it's like, whoa, yay, I did that. That was good. So,
excellent. The celebrating success, which is a great thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. We often don't do that. We sort of do all these great efforts, and then we just don't celebrate it, even if it's a yes. That's done it. Great.
I've got a little magnet. I've got a little magnet that I move along every day.
Oh, really?
It's got to do when it's done, and I move the magnet. So if you're a person that just likes ticking things off, it's.
So is this more than just a to-do list? This is like those 3 you just mentioned. Are they like your current ones at the moment on an ongoing basis?
Yeah, I mean they're ones that will contribute to what I'm trying to achieve this year. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I know that if I do an action within those, so the social post, I mean, it's a bit of fun, but actually it is actually creating brand awareness, of Mercer externally and what we're talking about. And it's from some of my social activity, we've actually won clients because people have got in touch with me and said, oh, actually, can we have a chat about that? So it does help. And I was just going to add, the other thing that I tell people that I am mentoring is to have a spreadsheet. And this isn't particularly about daily habits, but it's basically just create a spreadsheet. And whenever you do something, something great or something that's contributing towards your goals or get feedback, put it down, because you'll forget when you get to the end of the year and you've got your end of year review. So when you've achieved something that's in line with your goals, just make sure that you write it down there. I've got one girl, and we were particularly working on her confidence, and she did something that she was so proud of. I'm like, put it in your spreadsheet, okay? Because that's shown personal growth. And you're increasing your competencies all the time as well. Your behavioural competencies.
Oh yeah, and it's interesting because I was in sales, and we used to have like brag files. So you always have to have a brag file in a sense of what you have accomplished.
I love that brag file.
But I talk to clients now, and I talk about almost a celebration file. So anything that you've achieved, small, large, doesn't matter. Just write, as you say, whether it's on a spreadsheet, Word document, however it is, because often when we're going through some tough times, when it's bit grim or it's just not very great at the moment, read through the stuff you've been achieving the last few months or a year, and you go, oh, great. I actually, and it's a nice sort of patting yourself on the back, and it creates a more positive, elicits more positive mindset.
And it does,
better. Because that's reality. It's not fake. It's not made up. It's actually real stuff saying that you've done well with something.
Yeah, and you forget you've done these things half the time. You do and go, wow, did I do that? I look back at some of the things that I've written. I'm like, wow, did I really write that? And it's right, when you're in the flow, it just comes naturally, doesn't it? Yeah. But when you're struggling, it's sometimes hard to remember these things, I think. So and it's finding what works for you.
I know we're all trying to create a better version of ourselves, aren't we? And I think it's a good way of not measuring that, but demonstrating that actually this time last year I can do this now because that I achieved this now and I'm doing this. And it's, rather than comparing yourself to other people, which is the thief of joy, just comparison in itself, is to look at yourself previously and look at all the wonderful achievements you're doing, small or large, creates a sense of I'm moving forward, I'm getting better. Which is wonderful, actually.
And I do, I talk to people about self-advocacy as well. It's not showing off, actually. It's been realistic about what they're doing, and the personal branding as well. I know some people don't particularly like the term personal branding, but to me, it just really resonated. It's like, if you're in a lift, what are the 3 things you want your CEO to say about you? That's your personal branding, and if you're on social media, focus everything around those 3 things, and you will create your brand. You will, and it's start to know you for those things. And also it does then link to that purpose. Okay, so what is my purpose? What do I want to be known about? And make sure your activities are linked to that.
Yes. No. Yeah. And it's interesting, again, creating lists or 1 or 2 goals daily, weekly, however you want to do it. We know we get what we focus on because it's a reality of our psyche. If you focus on something, you will go for it. You might not achieve it, but you'll certainly have a good go at it. And so that's important to have that focus and in some shape or form. And I like your little whiteboard up there, which means as you come into your work, into your study, it's there reminding you again what you need to do, which is great, actually.
Yeah. And I mean, even my background was something I did in lockdown because I get bored quite easily, and it's like, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to jazz my my working environment up? Okay, I'll stick a different background on there.
So just one final thing before we finish, really, is you love the outdoors, and obviously you use that as part of your creating energy for yourself. And I know you're also quite a keen duathlete. How did that happen? Have you always been into sort of sports and running and cycling, or was that something that's just developed over time?
Yeah, it developed, actually. So I've always been active, but I mean, I was in netball teams and stuff at school, but we weren't a particularly sporty school. And then I played badminton and stuff. And it was, I think it all started really in 2012. There was we had we always have charity partners at Marsh McLennan in the UK, and we were partnering with Help for Heroes and and there was an expedition to Kilimanjaro. I'm like, wow, I would love to do that. So emailed a few colleagues and went, do you fancy doing this? So we did. And when I came back from that, of course, everybody says, what next? So and my friend had this beautiful Bianchi on the wall in her hallway. I'm like, I might take up cycling. So I took up cycling in 2013 and then did various things. And again, for our charity partner, I ran the London Marathon in 2019, purely for charity. But after that, I thought, well, it's a shame to waste these running legs. So I kept running. I've developed quite a following on Twitter and sort of started engaging with a few athletes and things. And there was a couple of athletes that did this Great Britain age grouping thing. And I'm like, wow, what's that? And I'd seen Louise Minchin on her book with a GB suit on, tri-suit on. I'm like, how could she run for GB? And then I discovered this age grouping thing. So I said to this fellow, what's it all about? And I thought it was triathlon. And he said, well, you can do duathlon, which is run, bike, run, which I'd never really heard of. So I did a local one just in Chichester. And then I pinged him a note. I said, do you think I'll be able to do this GB stuff? He went, you can give it a try. You need to sign on to British Triathlon, and you need to go to a qualifier. And that was that 2019? Yeah, that was 2019. So I signed up for this qualifier thinking, it'll take a few years. And I actually qualified from that run and represented Great Britain in the European Duathlon Championships in March 2020. Literally, we left Spain. So the race was on the Saturday, left Spain on the Monday, and they closed down on the Friday.
Wow.
And literally we got in, and then of course the whole world locked down after that.
So how did you get on?
I came 11th, I think, in my age group, which I
That's
was
brilliant.
like, yeah, I was delighted about, actually. Yeah, I mean, it's the craziest thing is at my age you get to represent Great Britain. I just think it's crazy.
Yeah.
And
My
then
wife did it. My wife did it 2 or 3 years ago for triathlon, and she represented
yeah,
GB
yeah,
for in Portugal. Went to Portugal for
yeah,
a week.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no,
Was
it's
that
great.
Pontevedra? Is that Pontevedra? Is that Portugal? I've seen people. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember now. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But yes,
But
yeah.
we've got the World Championships coming up in just a few weeks' time, 6th of November, in Aviles in Spain. So I'm very, very excited about that.
Are you going to
So
that then? Are you representing
I
GB
am going to
again?
that.
Oh,
Yeah,
fantastic! That's
I get
brilliant.
to wear my tri-suit again.
Oh,
So
I'm sure you'll
yeah,
do well. That's brilliant.
very,
That's
very
excellent.
well. Hopefully, I mean, I train 6 days a week, and I change my hours at work to accommodate that. So yeah, I've trained hard. So I mean, my ambition ultimately is to win a medal. I won't get there yet. It's probably quite a few years down the line, but
Yeah.
I'll do my best.
Well, it's been wonderfully to talk to you today, Christina, and I do
Yeah,
wish you well with your World Championships in a couple of weeks'
yeah.
time. How can people get in touch with you? Want to connect with you?
Oh, I'm all over the place, Julian. So Twitter is Christina Dove 7, LinkedIn is Christina Dove, and Instagram is Duathlon Dove, or search for Christina Dove and I'll come up. Yeah, or you can email me christina.dove@mercer.com.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for today. Really appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay. Been brilliant. Thank you so much.
Excellent.